In this video, I assume I gained your attention from my first video titled Finding Happiness in the Zone. In order for this video to make better sense, it's important that you watch that video first. I should warn you that the background you are watching will not change for the entire duration of this video. I tell you this because I know the human mind gets impatient very easily. When something repeats over and over again, we get very bored and want to move on. Our thoughts get scattered, and it's difficult to pay attention to the information being provided. I am using this image to embed it into your mind that it can represent all your thoughts and all your emotions. It is very important that you remain in this state of mind as you listen to each of these recordings. Ideally, you will be in an environment where you will not be distracted, and I will have your undivided attention for the entire 15 minutes of this recording. To have the best experience, use a pair of headphones and lie down on your sofa or bed with a laptop, tablet, or smartphone. Try to have the image close to your face so that your device is taking up the majority of your vision. This will help you remain completely focused on the repeating image and my voice. The key here is for you to remain absolutely relaxed without any distractions. If it makes you feel more comfortable, please disregard the background image, close your eyes, and concentrate on my voice. Okay, so we learned in the first video that in order for each of us to get in the zone, we must learn how to meditate on our breathing and relax, or recharge our mind. We must relieve ourselves from all the events that have occurred during this day. There is nothing in your past or your future that will consume your thoughts in this present moment. So please join me in a very brief meditation to help clear our brainwaves and prepare for the next 15 minutes of this video. It will not require us to meditate for a full 5 to 10 minutes as I previously suggested. Only 60 seconds will suffice. Please close your eyes and relax. Feel your body pressing into your sofa or chair. Direct your attention to your chest and feel your chest rise as you inhale through your nose and feel it fall as you exhale through your mouth. Let's do 3 very deep breaths, and I will ask you to hold your breath for a count of 3 before you exhale. 1. Breathe in. Hold your breath for 1, 2, 3. Now exhale and let all the air fall out of your lungs. 2. Breathe in. Hold your breath for 1, 2, 3. Now exhale and let all the air fall out of your lungs. Last one. Breathe in. Hold your breath for 1, 2, 3. Now exhale and let all the air fall out of your lungs. You are feeling very relaxed right now, and all you are concentrating on is my voice, and only my voice. I have titled this video, Self-Awareness, Taming the Ego. I will be going into greater detail how these two terms are synonymous with one another. In fact, the moment that you are self-aware is also the moment that you tame the ego. First, let's examine the definition of the word tame. If something is tame, it cannot surprise or injure you. It's predictable. It has been domesticated. Tame can be used as an adjective or verb. A circus lion is tame, adjective, because it has been tamed, verb. And now let's examine the definition of the word ego. It's a noun, a person's sense of self-esteem or self-importance. That was a boost to my ego. The psychoanalysis definition is the part of the mind that mediates between the conscious and the unconscious and is responsible for reality testing and a sense of personal identity. Now, there are many opinions and discussions on just what the ego is. Of course, this video is nothing more than my personal opinion, but I've spent the last several years of my life not only studying, but experiencing this phenomenon we call the ego. My hope is to present this information in a very concise manner so that it is easily understandable to anybody that listens to it. But in the end, there is no better way for you to understand than to experience it for yourself. With that being said, the most logical first step is for me to introduce you to your ego. You will look at your ego face to face, and this can only be done by looking at your reflection in the mirror. I cannot think of a more powerful method for you to be self-aware than to look at your own reflection. So I have an exercise that will help you take the first step forward on the path of your enlightenment. This exercise must not be underestimated. There will be many of you that will listen to this recording and never do the exercise and continue on with the daily routines you've been doing for your entire life. But I hope there are more of you that are willing to admit that your daily routines have not been working, and you know it's time for a new way of thinking in order for you to find your happiness. This exercise will be the first step for you to recondition your mind and take real time aside for yourself. If you need to set your alarm 10 to 15 minutes earlier than you normally do, just to allow for this exercise, then please do it. Here is the exercise. Most of us take at least one bath or shower per day. I cannot think of a better time for you to practice this exercise than the moment you get out of the shower. Take your shower as you normally would and dry your body as you normally would. Wrap your towel around your body and stand in front of the mirror. Steady your balance by putting your hands on the sink. Now close your eyes. Take 3 to 5 very deep breaths just like we did at the start of this video. Then slowly open your eyes. As soon as your eyes are open, make direct eye contact with yourself. Lock your eye contact for as long as you possibly can. 30 seconds, 1 minute, 5 minutes, as long as you possibly can. When's the last time you made eye contact with yourself? I'm willing to bet it has been a very long time, if ever. When we get ready each morning, we hardly ever make eye contact with ourselves. Our focus is on every other part of our body except our eyes, because we are always running late to get to work or get the kids to school. After all, it's a waste of time and things need to get done. Now it's time for you to meet your ego. Take your towel off and let it drop to the floor. Stand there in the nude looking at your reflection. Remain in the present moment and remain aware of the thoughts that go through your mind. It will be irresistible for your eyes to drift to all the parts of your body that you're insecure about. Some of us may have thoughts or emotions of embarrassment. We think about how we would like our body to look, but we never do anything to get there. Or we do try very hard to get there, but it's just too damn hard, so we give up. Some of you may have emotions of anger as to why society makes us idealize the human body like we do. Regardless of your thoughts and emotions, the point is that you are not accepting your human form 100% the way that it is. You have not completely accepted yourself the way you are. Now, the ego is not only restricted to feelings of insecurity. The ego is very much at play if you look at yourself in the mirror and consider yourself perfection. There is a very fine line from accepting yourself and being full of yourself. We have all come across people whose egos are so large, they seem to walk and talk like they are supreme beings. This form of ego is more toxic and detrimental to our spirit than the ego that is insecure, because this ego segregates themselves from everyone else and has an energy that repels all other egos. Regardless of which ego you possess, the point of this exercise is to simply identify and become aware of its presence. You must not pass any judgment onto your ego. I will have future recordings to help you learn how to tame your ego, but for now, all you must do is simply be aware that it is there. Now I must warn you, this exercise will bring up many negative thoughts and emotions. When you look at yourself in your own two eyes, it forces you to look at the real you, all the decisions you have made in your life, and all the ways that you have affected other people, all the good and all the bad. It's worth repeating again that you should not pass any judgment on yourself. Do not let this exercise consume you and ruin your day. Some people may believe that your goal should be to get rid of the ego completely. I happen to believe that not only is this impossible, but I also believe the ego has its place and its own benefits within our day-to-day lives. Trying to get rid of the ego is like saying the universe has made a mistake and I need to fix it. I believe the ego is the main reason we have survived for all these millions of years. I like to think of the ego as the basic instinct of nature. It is the pre-installed software that is within every life form on the planet. It is my belief that we need to tame the ego instead of trying to kill it. Now, the ego was turned on its head with the invention of consciousness. Consciousness brought a new entity into the equation, the I am. Now the life form had one of two options. Number one, to either be in the passenger seat on autopilot and let the ego do the driving, or number two, to actually sit behind the wheel and do the driving themselves. We tend to think that we have full control over our lives, but the main message I'm trying to point out to you is that this is not the truth. Many of us have sat blindly in the passenger seat on autopilot, letting the ego make all the decisions for us. Just think about a time in your past where you may have been so angry and screamed hurtful things to a person you loved and you later regretted it. This was your ego in full glory. If you disagree with this statement, you must realize that this is your ego trying to convince yourself that you are absolutely perfect and there is no need for you to change in any way. Your ego needs you to have this state of mind in order for it to survive and to remain in the driver's seat. You must be humble enough to accept the fact that there is no such thing as a perfect human, and everybody can do something to be a better person. To close this recording, I urge you to do the exercise I have suggested. It will help you become more aware of your ego's presence. You will also notice the sense of being uncomfortable when you look at yourself in your eyes. At first, this may feel unnatural. Try to get to the point when you can look at all your insecurities and say, I accept you exactly the way you are. Tell yourself, I know I'm a good person, but I also know there is plenty room for improvement. I will keep my mind open to all possibilities that will help me find my happiness. And for those of you courageous enough to admit that maybe you're not a good person after all, but you feel a deep burning sensation inside that you want to be a better person, I promise the key to your salvation lies within this exercise and within the power of meditation. I sincerely hope the information provided so far has been useful to many of you. I will be recording several more chapters that will go much deeper into this topic. I know without a doubt this information has the power to transform many lives like it did to my own. I realize each of you have very busy lives, so thank you for carving this small space out and listening to what I have to say.